Welcome back to Daily AI News at Let's Data Science. It's 2026-05-19. Today, we're diving into some pivotal developments from the future of machine intelligence to major product launches. Let's get to it. We begin with a major shift in cybersecurity tooling. Anthropic's security focused large language model, Mythos Preview, is drawing strong reactions from both defenders and offensive security researchers. Anthropic released an assessment of Mythos Preview in April and launched a coordinated research effort called Project Glasswing. As part of that program, Cloudflare pointed Mythos Preview at more than 50 of its internal repositories. In a May 18 blog post, Cloudflare described the model as a real step forward compared with earlier general-purpose frontier models for vulnerability discovery. Offensive security firm XBOW also published an independent evaluation on May 12th, calling Mythos Preview a major advance. XBOW reported that the model is substantially better at surfacing vulnerability candidates when source code is available and highlighted strengths in native code analysis and reverse engineering support. But the most striking demonstration came from independent researchers at Caliph.io. In a May 14th post, Caliph.io reported that its engineers, working with Mythos Preview, developed a working macOS kernel memory corruption exploit on Apple M5 Silicon in just 5 days. The team shared the details with Apple prior to public disclosure. Cybersecurity News also reported on what it described as the first public macOS kernel exploit on Apple M5 hardware. Taken together, these reports suggest that Mythos Preview materially compresses the timeline from vulnerability discovery to proof of concept exploit. XBOW and Cloudflare both emphasize that operational exploitation still requires tooling and human oversight. Models do not have a body to interact with live systems. But when paired with orchestration frameworks and validation pipelines, Mythos Preview appears capable of accelerating reasoning-heavy steps in exploit development. For defenders, this is a double-edged sword. Programs like Project Glasswing demonstrate clear defensive value, faster code audits, better triage, and improved vulnerability surfacing at scale. But Caliph.io's macOS M5 exploit highlights acute misuse risks. The balance will likely hinge on access controls, coordinated disclosure processes, and how organizations integrate models like Mythos Preview into controlled workflows. Next, we turn to AI infrastructure at hyperscale. Blackstone and Google have announced a joint venture to create a new US-based TPU cloud. According to Blackstone's press release, the firm will commit an initial $5 billion in equity and expects to bring 500 megawatts of capacity online in 2027. Reuters and Bloomberg report that the total investment value could reach $25 billion, including leverage. Google will supply its custom tensor processing units, along with software and services, to the new company. The venture will offer TPUs through a compute-as-a-service model. Blackstone has named longtime Google infrastructure executive Benjamin Traynor-Sloss as CEO. Blackstone president and COO John Gray described the move as a generational opportunity to invest in AI infrastructure. This partnership reflects a broader pattern. Demand for accelerator-dense capacity is outpacing traditional hyperscaler supply. By combining Google's TPUs with Blackstone's balance sheet and data center footprint, the venture creates an alternative procurement path for enterprises seeking TPU access outside standard Google Cloud contracts. For ML teams and SREs, the implications are practical. Third-party TPU capacity may offer greater geographic diversity or procurement flexibility, but integration details will matter. Networking topology, egress pricing, software compatibility, and SLA terms will determine whether this TPU cloud becomes a viable alternative or a niche supplement. Watch for formal pricing, onboarding case studies, and interoperability documentation as the 500 megawatt build-out progresses. Our third top story centers on governance and legal risk in the AI sector. A 9-member federal jury in Oakland, California, unanimously rejected Elon Musk's $150 billion lawsuit against OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman. According to the New York Times, BBC, and the Wall Street Journal, the jury found that Musk's breach of charitable trust and unjust enrichment claims were barred by the statute of limitations. Jurors deliberated for less than 2 hours before U.S. District Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers accepted the verdict and dismissed the claims. The trial included testimony from Sam Altman, OpenAI co-founder Greg Brockman, and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. Musk had alleged that OpenAI's shift to a for-profit structure violated earlier understandings. Multiple outlets report that Musk intends to appeal, calling the ruling a technicality. The New York Times also noted that the decision removes a significant legal overhang ahead of a potential OpenAI IPO, with reporting citing a $730 billion valuation estimate. For practitioners integrating OpenAI APIs, the near-term effect is continuity. The risk of a court-ordered restructuring or governance intervention has receded, at least temporarily. However, appeals and any remaining district court claims will remain watch points for enterprise risk teams. Finally, in our top stories, Redis has launched Iris, a unified context and memory platform for AI agents. Announced in a May 18th blog post on Redis.io, Iris bundles 5 components: Redis Context Retriever, Redis Agent Memory, Redis Data Integration, Redis Langcache, and Redis Search. Redis positions Iris as a context engine that sits between AI agents and enterprise data, providing real-time retrieval and persistent short and long-term memory across multi-step workflows. Coverage from VentureBeat and Blocks and Files frames this as a shift from one-off RAG pipelines toward always-on, agent-ready context layers. A key technical addition is a Flex SSD-based tier for Redis, designed to reduce the cost of maintaining larger context windows and longer agent memories compared with purely in-memory deployments. VentureBeat cited a RAG infrastructure market tracker showing hybrid retrieval buyer intent rising from 10.3% to 33.3% between January and March. For teams deploying agent fleets, this is less about model weights and more about architecture. Latency, freshness, memory semantics, and integration with operational data sources are becoming first-order constraints. Redis CEO Rowan Trollope told VentureBeat, "Companies will have orders of magnitude more agents than human beings. If that projection holds, context infrastructure like Iris will become as critical as the models themselves." Now, for a few other key updates in our lightning round. Google may be preparing a new always-on AI agent called Gemini Spark. APK analyses by 9to5Google and Testing Catalog describe a redesigned Gemini app with separate chat and agent tabs. Leaked onboarding text suggests Gemini Spark draws context from connected apps, personal intelligence, signed-in websites, chats, tasks, and location. Code references reported by Forbes point to a task scheduler and skill system. Notably, onboarding strings reportedly warn that Gemini Spark is experimental and may share information or complete purchases without asking. Official confirmation is expected at Google I/O 2026. Apple has announced that WWDC 26 will run from June 8 to June 12, with the keynote at 10 a.m. Pacific on June 8 and the platform State of the Union at 1 p.m. Pacific. Apple confirmed more than 100 video sessions and a special in-person event at Apple Park. Media reports from MacRumors and others expect previews of iOS 27, macOS 27, watchOS 27, visionOS 27, and an upgraded AI-powered Siri. In policy news, President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping placed artificial intelligence on the agenda during their recent summit in Beijing. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CNBC that the two AI superpowers are going to start talking. Reuters and the Wall Street Journal report discussions around a formal AI safety dialogue mechanism, likely focused on protocols and access controls rather than binding treaties. In the UK, NHS Shared Business Services has launched a £900 million healthcare AI solutions framework, according to Digital Health News. The framework, running from May 2027 to May 2035, covers diagnostics, predictive analytics, robotics, and operational efficiency. Procurement Director Patty Howland said the NHS aims to become the first national health system to make routine use of AI and machine learning technologies. And finally, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei told a Council on Foreign Relations event that AI could write 90% of code within months and potentially essentially all of the code within a year. Reuters recently reported that Anthropic launched 10 finance-focused AI agents for its Claude models, and that roughly 40% of its top 50 customers are financial institutions. Whether or not Amodei's timeline holds, enterprise automation of coding and finance workflows is clearly accelerating. And that's your AI briefing for today. The landscape is moving faster than ever, and we'll be here to track it with you. For more insights, visit us at letsdatascience.com. Thanks for tuning in, stay curious, and we'll be back tomorrow with the latest in AI.